What if I told you that in just 6 months, you could become unrecognizable mentally, physically, emotionally, and even financially, not because of some miracle or overnight success, but because of small, consistent decisions that compound over time? The next 80 days could either pass by as just another chapter of routine, or they could become the turning point of your life. Most people underestimate what they can do in half a year. They think transformation takes decades. But here's a secret: the human brain can form new neural pathways in just 66 days. Your body can completely regenerate millions of cells in that time. And your habits, they can be rewired if you commit, truly commit, for just 6 months. This isn't about motivation. This is about structure, discipline, and science-backed strategies that have helped thousands of people go from stuck to unstoppable. And in this video, we'll uncover the exact steps you can take to make your own 6-month transformation possible. We'll explore the psychology behind lasting change, the mindset shifts that separate those who try from those who become. You'll discover how to build habits that stick, break free from distractions, and set goals that don't just inspire you, but change you. You'll learn why the first 72 hours of your commitment are the most critical, why most people fail after week 3, and how a principle called the plateau of latent potential could be the reason your past efforts never produced real results. We'll break it all down, simply, clearly, and powerfully. You'll understand the forgotten rule of delayed feedback, why what you do today won't show tomorrow, but will explode with results months later. We'll talk about a man who read 10 pages a day for 6 months and ended up launching a business from a single book idea, or the woman who took daily 30-minute walks while listening to audiobooks and found herself speaking on stages half a year later. These are real people, real results, from ordinary actions repeated daily. This video isn't just a pep talk, it's a blueprint. We'll talk about how to split your 6-month period into high-efficiency cycles, why most successful people work in sprints, not marathons. You'll see why 12 weeks of focus is often more effective than a whole year of scattered intention. And here's something few people realize: your environment silently controls your future. We'll show how to redesign your surroundings, your digital space, your room, your calendar, to align with who you want to become. Because willpower is limited, but structure, that's infinite. This isn't about becoming someone else. It's about uncovering who you were meant to be before the noise got in the way. 6 months from now, you could look in the mirror and barely recognize the version of you that started watching this video today. But only if you watch until the end. Because at the end of this video, we'll give you a simple but powerful 6-step worksheet, something you can use immediately to start your transformation. It's not just theory, it's practice, it's momentum. Too many people give up before they even get started. They wait for the perfect time, the perfect energy, the perfect plan. But perfection is the enemy of progress, and if you wait for the stars to align, you'll be stuck in the same spot, 6 months from now, wondering what could have happened if you started today. Time is going to pass anyway. The real question is, who will you be at the end of it? Welcome to Narrative Society. If you're ready to stop surviving and start transforming, make sure you hit that subscribe button and stay with us till the very end, because what you're about to hear might just change everything. Before we talk about the habits, the hustle, or the routines, let's talk about something deeper, something that comes before all the noise. It's called vision, and without it, nothing else sticks. You can have the best plan, the strongest willpower, the most detailed calendar, but if you don't know where you're going, you'll still feel lost. Vision isn't about where you are, it's about where you decide to be. It's the quiet picture you hold in your mind when the world is loud. It's the feeling that drives you when motivation fades. And the truth is, most people never take the time to define it. They drift. They react. They survive. But those who truly change their lives in 6 months, they begin with a crystal clear picture of their future self. Not a vague idea. Not just "I want to be successful," but detailed, specific, precise. What does your ideal day look like? What does your morning smell like? Who are you surrounded by? What are you working on? What are you becoming? Your mind is a GPS system, but it needs coordinates. If you don't input a destination, it won't tell you where to turn. And when life gets hard, and it will, it's the power of that personal vision that pulls you forward. There's a reason why top performers, from elite athletes to billionaires, spend hours visualizing. It's not a fantasy. It's programming. Your subconscious mind cannot tell the difference between imagination and reality. So, when you begin to feed it a new image again and again, it starts looking for ways to make it real. James Altucher once said, "You are not your past. You are the stories you tell yourself about your future." And the story begins with a vision, not a borrowed one, not a copy of someone else's dream, but your own. Most people never stop to ask themselves what they truly want. They chase approval. They chase security. But those aren't visions. Those are chains. A real vision comes from honesty, from sitting with yourself and asking, "If I had no fear, what would I build?" But vision alone isn't enough. It's the start, but not the whole picture. Once you know where you want to go, you have to decide how you're going to get there. And this is where clarity becomes power. Before you get overwhelmed with 100 different goals, let's simplify. You don't need to change everything. You only need to focus on the few things that change everything else. This is where the 80-20 rule comes in. It's one of the most misunderstood yet powerful concepts in personal growth. The idea is simple. 80% of your results come from just 20% of your actions. In other words, not all habits are created equal. Not all changes matter, but a few, they matter more than you know. Instead of trying to fix every area of your life at once, ask yourself, what are the 2 or 3 areas that, if improved, would lift everything else? Maybe it's your health. When your body feels strong, your mind follows. You sleep better, think clearer, and move with energy. Maybe it's your time management. Once you take back control of your hours, everything else becomes easier. Or maybe it's your self-talk, because the way you speak to yourself determines whether you keep going or give up. The 80-20 rule isn't just about efficiency, it's about intention. It's a strategy to keep you from getting lost in the noise. Most people make the mistake of trying to do too much. They burn out before they even begin. But the ones who change their lives, they pick 2 or 3 critical levers, and they pull those levers every single day. Think of it like gardening. You don't need to water the whole field, just the seeds that matter. You don't need to fix everything at once. Just focus on what causes the biggest shift. And here's something people don't tell you. When you focus on the right things, momentum kicks in. One change leads to another. One win leads to 10. You start eating better, and suddenly you sleep better. You sleep better, and you think clearer. You think clearer, and you make bolder choices, all from one small change. It's not magic, it's math. Compound growth in action. There's a reason Steve Jobs wore the same outfit every day. A reason Warren Buffett reads for hours. A reason most CEOs follow a strict morning routine. They know that big success doesn't come from random effort. It comes from laser focus on a few vital things. Now imagine this. You sit down today and choose just two key areas of your life. Maybe your fitness and your discipline, or your income and your confidence. You map out one small daily action for each, something so small you can't fail, then you repeat it every day for 6 months. What happens? At first, not much. It might feel boring. It might even feel pointless, but then something strange begins to happen. You start to notice how your energy shifts. You feel proud just for showing up. You feel capable even when the results are slow. And slowly, day by day, the results stop being invisible. They show up in your decisions, your relationships, your bank account, your mindset. Because vision without focus is just a dream, but vision paired with action, targeted action, that's the start of transformation. Let's be clear, this isn't about perfection. It's not about working 10 hours a day or pushing yourself to the limit. It's about alignment, making sure that the few things you do every day actually matter. You don't need more time, you need more direction. And the best part, once you get momentum in just one or two areas, the rest of your life starts to rise with it. Your vision becomes reality, not because you forced it, but because you focused on what moves the needle. So don't spread yourself thin. Don't chase every trend. Look at your life and ask, what are the 2 areas I can improve that would make everything else easier or unnecessary? Then build your 6-month strategy around that. Because when clarity meets focus, change is no longer a possibility. It becomes inevitable. When people talk about transformation, they often imagine a dramatic shift, quitting everything cold turkey, waking up at 4 a.m., running marathons, building businesses overnight. But real lasting change doesn't work like that. It's not loud, it's not extreme, it's subtle, gentle, almost invisible. It begins with something small, something tiny. Tiny habits are powerful because they don't trigger resistance. The brain isn't scared of just one push-up. It doesn't panic at the idea of flossing one tooth. It doesn't rebel against writing one sentence a day. And that's the key. You slip in past the mind's defenses. One push-up a day might sound like a joke. It might seem too easy, but that's the point. The habit isn't about the physical movement. It's about identity. Every time you do one push-up, you cast a vote for the kind of person who takes care of their body. And once that identity starts to take hold, the habit grows on its own. Most people fail at change, not because they're lazy, but because they aim too big, too fast. They create a monster routine and burn out within days. But tiny habits bypass that trap. They fit into your life without disruption. They become a natural part of your day, like brushing your teeth or locking the door. B.J. Fogg, the researcher behind the Tiny Habits method, proved that transformation doesn't require motivation. It requires a trigger, a small step, and a feeling of success. That's it. You anchor the habit to something you already do. Wake up, drink water, open your laptop, then you do the tiniest version of the behavior. You celebrate, and over time, that small win builds into something real. One sentence becomes a chapter. One squat becomes a workout. $1 saved becomes an emergency fund. The habit grows, not because you force it, but because it becomes who you are. And while habits are the building blocks, structure is the blueprint. Without structure, even the best intentions fade. So instead of thinking in vague time frames like 6 months, break it down, make it tangible, make it measurable. Split those 6 months into 2 12-week cycles. Why 12 weeks? Because it's long enough to make real progress, but short enough to stay focused. The mind works better with urgency. When you know there's a deadline, you act with more intention. You stop wasting days. You make every week count. In the first cycle, focus on the foundation. Pick one or two areas. Introduce one or two tiny habits for each. Track them. Measure them. Let them sink into your daily rhythm. Don't worry about the results yet. Just build consistency. Think of this phase as planting seeds. You're not trying to harvest anything, you're just building roots. The key is not to overwhelm yourself. You don't need a massive schedule, you need a clear framework. Create a weekly rhythm, maybe Mondays for planning, Fridays for review. Set 2 simple goals per week, aligned with your chosen areas. Keep your to-do list short. Celebrate every completion. Most productivity systems fail because they're too complex, but complexity kills action. You want a system you can maintain even on your worst days, even when you're tired, even when life is chaotic. As the weeks pass, start stacking your habits. Once one becomes automatic, layer in another, but never jump too far ahead. Respect the process. Habits take time to solidify. Let the system do its work. In the second cycle, you can begin to raise the intensity, but only slightly. Instead of 1 push-up, maybe now it's 5. Instead of 1 page of reading, it's 10. Still small, still manageable, but you're stretching. Now that your base is stronger, you can begin to aim a little higher. Add a challenge. Set a 12-week goal, a project, a financial target, a health milestone. Use the habits you've built to support it. Every action now has a purpose. Every day builds towards something. This cycle is about momentum. You've already proven to yourself that you can show up. Now it's about what you do with that power. Use visual tracking, a calendar, a habit app, a notebook. It doesn't matter. What matters is the reinforcement. When you see progress, you stay motivated. When you miss a day, you bounce back. You don't break the chain. And don't just track habits. Track your energy. Pay attention to when you feel your best, when your thoughts are clear, when your work flows. That data is gold. It helps you optimize. It helps you adapt your structure to your biology. Everyone's rhythm is different. Some people thrive early, others peak at night. Some need silence, others need background noise. The more you understand your patterns, the better your structure becomes. And when things go off track, and they will, the structure helps you reset. You don't panic, you don't quit, you adjust, you recalibrate, you go back to 1 push-up, 1 step, 1 page. That's the beauty of tiny habits. They're always available. No matter what life throws at you, you can return to your baseline, and that consistency, over time, becomes resilience. In this 6-month journey, there's no finish line, only layers, only growth, only the next level of you. Habits build identity. Identity drives behavior. Behavior shapes destiny. But none of it starts with huge leaps. It starts with the smallest possible step, taken again, and again, and again. Inside a system, inside a cycle, with patience, with care. And while most people look for hacks, shortcuts, or secrets, the truth has always been simple. Tiny habits, done with intention, inside a structured plan, change everything. Not because they are impressive, but because they last. Deep work isn't a productivity hack. It's the core of all meaningful achievement. 1 hour of focused, undistracted work can produce more value than an entire day of multitasking. It's not just about doing more, it's about doing the right thing with complete attention. That kind of focus is rare. And because it's rare, it's powerful. But it's also uncomfortable. Deep work demands stillness. It demands that you face your thoughts. It pulls you away from the dopamine drip of distractions. That's why most people avoid it. They scroll, they check, they bounce from tab to tab, and at the end of the day they feel busy. But nothing important got done. 1 hour a day. That's all it takes. Not 10 hours. Not a full work day. Just 60 minutes of intentional effort, with no noise, phone off, tabs closed, brain locked in. That hour becomes sacred, non-negotiable. Like brushing your teeth or eating dinner. It's not optional. It's your daily meeting with your future self. During that hour, you work on what matters, your vision, your systems, your key habits, not busy work, not errands, not endless email threads. The deep stuff, the thing that if you showed up for it every day would move your life in a completely different direction. Cal Newport calls it cognitive craftsmanship. You're not just completing tasks, you're building skill, you're practicing presence, you're strengthening your ability to think, to create, to problem solve. These are the muscles that separate amateurs from masters. The deeper your work, the sharper your mind becomes. And to protect that time, you need rules, rituals, boundaries. You don't schedule deep work around life. You schedule life around deep work. You don't wait for inspiration. You build a rhythm. Same time, same place, every day. That consistency trains the brain. When the hour arrives, your mind knows it's time to go deep. Use a timer if you have to. Start with 30 minutes if 60 feels like too much. But don't compromise on the quality. No checking messages, no background noise, just you, your tools, and the task at hand. Some people write, others plan, some reflect, others learn. The activity doesn't matter as much as the level of focus. What matters is that you're training your attention. You're reclaiming it from the chaos of the world, and you're applying it every single day toward a vision that's bigger than you. And the brain rewards this kind of work. You start to feel flow. Time disappears. Ideas connect. Problems unravel. Your capacity expands. The mind, like a muscle, grows with repetition. And with growth comes confidence. The quiet kind. The kind that doesn't need to prove anything, because it knows. But even deep work needs direction. Without targets, even the most focused effort can drift. That's why progress must be measured. You need a scoreboard, something visible, something trackable, something that shows where you started and how far you've come. Quantitative tracking isn't about pressure, it's about clarity. When you set clear, measurable goals, you remove the fog, you know exactly what you're working toward. You know what success looks like, and you know each day whether you're getting closer or drifting away. Start with simple metrics. How many minutes did you spend in deep work today? What did you complete? What habit did you practice? What milestone did you reach? Write it down. Use a calendar, a spreadsheet, an app. It doesn't matter. What matters is the feedback loop. When you see the data, you can adjust. If a habit is slipping, you catch it early. If a goal is lagging, you pivot. You stop guessing. You start responding. And that responsiveness compounds over time. Set weekly targets. Review them every Sunday. Celebrate wins. Analyze misses. Not with judgment, but with curiosity. What worked? What didn't? What needs to change? If your goal is to write a book in 6 months, break it into chapters. Track word counts. Track writing days. If your goal is to improve fitness, measure your workouts, your sleep, Your nutrition. If your goal is to build a business, track leads, revenue, client outreach. Clarity creates momentum. And don't just track output, track effort. Some days the work will flow, other days it will drag. That's okay. What matters is that you showed up, that you honored the hour, that you protected the process. Progress isn't linear, it comes in waves, plateaus, breakthroughs, but the data tells the real story. The mind is emotional, the numbers are not. They ground you, they remind you, they guide you. And over time, the numbers begin to tell a different story, a better one. The gap between intention and action starts to shrink. The person you want to become starts to align with the person you are, because you can see it, you can measure it, you can feel it. Tracking also builds self-respect. You keep your word to yourself. You become someone who follows through, someone who doesn't just dream, but does, and that changes everything. Deep work builds the engine. Tracking gives it direction. Together, they create momentum that's hard to stop. One fuels the mind, the other calibrates the path. And when both are done daily, with care, your vision stops being an idea and starts becoming reality. Your body is not a separate system from your mind. When you feel tired, unfocused, moody, or undisciplined, the first place to check is not your motivation, it's your health. What are you feeding your body? How much movement have you given it today? The fastest way to change your brain is to change your body. Let's start with protein. Most people undereat it. They snack, they graze, they eat sugar for energy and crash by noon. Protein stabilizes, it sustains. It tells your body, we're rebuilding. It supports muscle repair, hormonal balance, and brain function. You don't need to become a bodybuilder, but you do need enough fuel to think clearly and act decisively. Protein in every meal. Eggs in the morning, chicken or tofu at lunch, lentils, yogurt, fish. This isn't about dieting. It's about wiring your brain for action. And when you start eating better, your energy levels rise. When your energy rises, your choices improve. And the loop continues. Now add movement. Not 2-hour gym sessions. Not punishing routines, just walks. Daily walks. 20 to 30 minutes. Outside if possible. Morning light on your face. Let your body move through space. Walking improves circulation. It improves memory. It boosts mood. It's not just physical, it's emotional reset. Then introduce training. 3 to 4 times a week. Strength over cardio. Moderate intensity. Compound movements. Squats. Push-ups, rows. Movements that train the whole body. Don't chase soreness. Don't chase exhaustion. Chase consistency. Chase competence. Chase form. Fitness isn't a project. It's a system. It supports everything else you're building. If your body is weak, your mind follows. If your body is strong, it carries the pressure of transformation without breaking. And sleep. Nothing works without it. No food, no workout, no vision survives poor sleep. No late night scrolling, no blue light in bed, no caffeine after 2 p.m. Treat your sleep like it's sacred, because it is. Physical health isn't a side quest. It's the foundation. If you want to be focused, alert, creative, and driven for 6 months straight, you need a body that supports that demand. You're building something that requires energy. Don't skip the basics. But even with the best fitness plan, the real shift comes from what's inside. The monk mode mindset. The discipline to say no to the things that don't serve your path. No to distractions. No to noise. No to excuses disguised as obligation. It starts with your environment. Look around. Is your space designed for growth or for entertainment? Are there books on your desk or clutter? Do your surroundings say creator or consumer? Remove what doesn't align. Clear your desk. Delete apps. Silence notification. Cancel what drains you. Monk mode is not about being a hermit. It's about being ruthless with your time and attention. You are choosing to withdraw from the noise so you can tune in to what matters. The greatest work of your life won't come through a notification. It comes in silence, in presence, in depth. Set rules, real ones. No phone in the bedroom. No scrolling until after deep work. One screen at a time. No passive content before breakfast. Protect your mornings. They set the tone. Own the first hour of the day, and the rest will follow. And it's not just about cutting out distractions. It's about building a world around you that supports your mission. People matter. If your circle rolls their eyes at your goals, it's time to distance. If they gossip, complain, or coast through life, it rubs off. You don't need critics in your ear while you're trying to rebuild. You need quiet. You need people who get it, or no people at all. Silence is better than noise. Books are better than opinions. Your inner voice gets clearer when you turn the volume down on the outside world. This mindset means you start saying no more often. No to plans that steal your energy. No to habits that dilute your focus. No to roles you've outgrown. Every yes must be earned. Every commitment must serve the vision. It will feel lonely at first, but loneliness isn't emptiness. It's space. Space for growth. Space for focus. Space to meet the next version of yourself. And that version is waiting on the other side of consistency. Monk mode doesn't mean boring. It means clean, clear, intentional. It's not forever. It's a season of intensity, of alignment. You're putting your life on a track and giving it a straight shot forward. You can't do that with clutter in your space or chaos in your calendar. You'll be tempted to reintroduce comfort, the binge nights, the pointless apps, the escape loops, but remind yourself why you started. What could your life look like 6 months from now if you stayed the course? Wouldn't that be worth the sacrifice? You don't need motivation. You need structure. You don't need hype. You need habits. Build the body that can carry the pressure. Build the mind that can ignore the noise. And build the space that holds your focus. Nutrition feeds the body. Fitness strengthens it. Monk mode clears the path. Combined, they create a machine, a daily rhythm that leaves no room for wasted time or empty pursuits. You're no longer living by default. You're designing something new, and every day becomes a quiet step toward that version. Willpower isn't magic. It's not something some people are born with and others lack. It's a muscle, and like any muscle, it can be trained, strengthened, and expanded over time. But it can also be exhausted, depleted, and overworked if not cared for properly. The secret isn't just having willpower, it's knowing how to train it daily, in small, repeated doses, until it becomes part of who you are. Every choice you make today is a vote for the person you're becoming. That's not just philosophy, it's how the brain works. Neurons fire, patterns form, habits settle. You don't become disciplined overnight. You become disciplined by doing one small, hard thing again and again until it feels normal, until it feels like you. The first battle of the day isn't with your phone or your to-do list. It's with the voice inside that wants comfort more than growth. That voice will tell you to skip your routine, to check social media before doing real work, to stay in bed a few minutes longer, to delay. It sounds gentle, reasonable, but it's the same voice that has kept you stuck before. Strengthen your willpower by mastering that voice. Win tiny battles. Get out of bed when you say you will. Turn off distractions when it's time to focus. Do the workout even when you don't feel like it. Eat what your body needs, not just what it craves. These aren't just actions, they're affirmations. Each one says, I am in control. I choose who I become. But discipline alone isn't enough. You need vision. You need identity. The strongest willpower grows from a clear sense of who you are becoming, not just what you want to do, but who you want to be. A person who finishes what they start. A person who keeps promises to others and to themselves. A person who can delay short-term pleasure for long-term purpose. Visualize that person, not vaguely, specifically. How do they speak? What time do they wake up? What's the first thing they do each morning? What do they eat? How do they walk into a room? What do they read? How do they respond to failure? Every night before bed and every morning when you wake, spend 1 minute seeing that version of you in your mind. Not with wishful thinking, but with clarity. This is mental rehearsal. Athletes do it. Performers do it. Leaders do it. Your brain doesn't fully distinguish between real and vividly imagined action. So imagine deeply and often. Then act in alignment, even in small ways. You might not be that person yet, but you can act like them for 5 minutes today, then 10, then 1 hour. Soon, your brain catches up. Your habits evolve. Your identity shifts. You're not faking it. You're building it. And understand this. Your environment matters. Willpower isn't just inside your head. It's influenced by your surroundings. If your kitchen is full of junk food, willpower weakens. If your phone is full of distractions, your brain burns energy resisting them. Design your space to support your choices. Remove triggers. Simplify decisions. Make the right path the easy one. Willpower fades when everything in your environment pulls you in the opposite direction. So re-engineer your life. Make your home a place of peace. Make your phone a tool, not a trap. Make your schedule a reflection of your priorities, not your impulses. Small shifts here create massive differences over time. Track your wins. When you do something hard, write it down. Record your streaks. Measure your progress. This isn't just motivation, it's data. It reminds your brain that you're moving forward, that change is happening, that effort is working. Over time, this reinforces the belief, I can do hard things. I can trust myself. Most people wait for motivation to act, but the truth is, motivation follows action. You feel more motivated after you take a cold shower, not before. You feel more confident after you finish the workout, not before. Act first. Feel later. Build that sequence into your routine until it becomes automatic. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be consistent. 1 skipped workout doesn't destroy your identity, but 2 skipped workouts become a story. I'm off track. Watch your stories. Willpower is shaped by the narrative you repeat. If you mess up, reset immediately. Not tomorrow. Now. Don't give failure time to root. And stay away from comparison. Your journey is yours. Your growth is real, even if it doesn't look like someone else's. Willpower gets crushed by unrealistic standards and highlight reels. Stay focused on what you can control. Your habits, your mindset, your vision. Use pain. Don't run from it. Let discomfort become your teacher. When you feel like quitting, pause and ask why. What are you avoiding? What fear sits behind the resistance? Face it, journal it, speak it. Don't bury it with dopamine. Growth begins where avoidance ends. Read daily, feed your mind, choose books and ideas that reinforce who you're becoming. Let your mental diet support your physical one. Willpower isn't just strength, it's clarity. It's remembering your why when the how gets hard. Keep reminders around you. Sticky notes, phone wallpapers, anchors that pull you back when you drift. And finally, protect your energy. Willpower is finite each day. Don't waste it on trivial choices. Decide once, automate meals, automate outfits, create morning and evening routines. Save your focus for the work that matters. You're not trying to change everything at once. You're trying to become the kind of person who can change anything. That process doesn't happen by accident. It happens by intention. Repeated, reinforced, daily. When you train your will, you unlock the ability to act despite emotion, to persist despite resistance, to move even when everything inside you says stay. That's not just strength, that's freedom. The freedom to build, to grow, to rise, one action at a time. In just 6 months, you can completely rewrite your story. We've broken it down into 10 powerful shifts. Start with a clear vision. Know where you're going. Focus on just 1 or 2 key areas using the 80-20 rule. Build tiny habits that are easy to sustain. Plan your journey in 12-week cycles. Make deep work your daily non-negotiable. Track your progress with measurable goals. Prioritize your nutrition and fitness. Enter monk mode. Cut out the noise and distractions. Reinforce your willpower like a muscle. And visualize the identity you're building every single day. It's not about doing everything perfectly. It's about starting today, because the next 6 months will pass whether you take control or not. Imagine where you could be by then. Drop a comment and tell us what's your personal 6-month goal. We want to hear it and support you. And this is just the beginning. In upcoming videos, we'll take a deep dive into each of these steps and give you practical ways to master every single one. If you found value in this video, please give it a like and share it with someone who needs a push. Don't forget to subscribe to Narrative Society, your space for transformation, growth, and clarity. This is your time. Let's begin.